Joining me on World Now to discuss this is the founder, I Care Initiative, Olufemi Oladunni. Thank you so much for joining us on World Now. Talk to us about the significance of commemorating this day.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so the aim of the United Nations is just to, promote and empower social, economic, and political inclusion of persons with disabilities, and in order to ensure equality of all. Right, so that is why the United Nations deemed it fit to put this thing together. These occasions together, so that people with disabilities will be included in day-to-day running of a state or of a country.
So we talk about these every year in, year out, and we want to understand how much the world has actually learned to live with people or persons with disabilities, and how they've also represented them and respected their rights in involving them, engaging them in things that, ordinary people do day in, day out.
Yeah, I would say in developing countries, measures are being put in place, and, these measures are being followed accordingly. But if in underdeveloping country or developing country, let me put it that way, such as our country, Nigeria, we see that, measures are still not being put in place, and people with disabilities are still being discriminated against. There's a stigmatization, there's lack of health care, and all of those things are still facing people or persons with disabilities that are living in underdeveloping or in the developing countries. But if you come to the US, come to the, what's it called, UK, you see that they are properly being taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. So because talk about even in journalism, we know someone like Ade Adepitan or something who does travel reports and all that travel program, and there is another person who's lost his limbs and does traveling, things that they brave things that ordinary person may not be able to do. So, but then back here in Africa, we know that, especially in Nigeria, we know that there is a law to that effect, and some public facilities are also mandated to respect and allow these persons living with disabilities to have access to these public facilities. But then, how much do you think this awareness have actually gone in ensuring that these rights or their rights are absolutely respected and well represented?
Yeah, first off, like I used to say, the first thing for them is just to know that, okay, they have a right, which I believe they know. And the second thing is the implementation, the enforcement of that right. That's another thing they need to know. So there should be a constant sensitization, constant awareness created by the government, by private individual, to tell persons living with disabilities, such as myself, that they have these specific rights, and they should look for a way to help them to enforce it. That is one. So if you look at the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act, it says that government should be given 5 years to adjust public buildings, private buildings, or also private individuals also should be given 5 years to adjust their buildings to accommodate easy access of persons with disabilities. Such are not adequately put in place, except for BRTs, except for some some private hospitals that I've been to in Nigeria they have accessibility, wheelchair accessibility for persons with disability. Other places such as banks are still lacking in that regard. They have refused to enforce that. So we need the government, we need both private individual, we need the government to come in to see that there's an enforcement of this right. There's an implementation of this right.
Do you think that should also inform, people's decision in voting whoever or holding to account whoever is coming to power come 2023, as we, work towards, plan ahead for the 2023 elections? What do you think persons with disabilities should bring to the table in terms of asking for whoever is coming in to represent or respect their rights?
In the political scene, I can see that, I can say categorically that, persons with disabilities have been participating, right? I saw a campaign yesterday that that people with persons with disability came out trooping to vote for, to support the candidate of their choice. Now it is imperative for them now to make a good decision as to who they are going to appoint into various elective positions. so that their interests will be protected, so that their rights also will be protected. So there should be a kind of awareness for them to know that, okay, this is also person, and the presidential, the governor, the local government chairman should also, meet with these people, know what they need, know their yearnings, and try to meet it.
Makes sense. Founder, I Care Initiative, Olufemi Oladunni, thank you so much for your time on World Now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.